Hi guys, it's Vincent, and like I said in my last video, this is a series that I want to start, completely inspired by Casey Golden's series of the 500 drawing prompts. Rather than buying a book full of prompts or anything like that, I decided that I wanted to create my own. Simply because I wanted to focus more on stuff that I know I wouldn't typically draw, and I mean a lot of the ones that the prompt books that they sell over here in the UK are very teeny tiny small, and I wanted something that I would have a lot of space to experiment in. So I bought this book and just wrote the prompts in myself. Many of them I didn't choose. I got my boyfriend to just say random words to me. I looked at a lot of prompt lists, the prompt generators and all that kind of stuff online, and I just picked stuff that I wouldn't typically do. I also put a few random words together like Casey does in her videos where she has a page that has multiple things on it. I just picked two random words and let's go. Right, so I also created some rules for myself because I irritate myself when it comes to certain ways that I work with art, so I wanted to force myself to stick to something. So I'll be doing every page in order, because usually when I work on anything I will not do it in order. I like to do stuff randomly, just jump through stuff, and it's probably not the best way to work. I've also put create characters because that is something that I do not do. Draw more people. Once again, I don't ever draw people. I only started about maybe 2 weeks ago with practicing drawing people. Before that I would only draw objects, use colour. Once again, something I don't do. The majority of my work is in black and white. Use fine liner and watercolour. I wanted something that would bring some kind of continuity to this series, so I decided that for all of them they would be done in the same media. Think out of the box. I tend to do stuff that's very typical, I guess, and I don't really think about things when I'm drawing them, and that is something that I want to do more. Do at least one page per week. Simple. Don't rush. That's something that I do when I get stressed out about something. I just try and do it as quickly as I can, but with this I want to be able to take my time and make sure that I'm happy with what it is that I create. And the last rule is have fun. So that's what I hope to do. So the first page, obviously the prompt is underwater, so let's get sketching. Now straight away I do have a few ideas, but like I said before, they're very typical, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So let's just think a little bit more. Okay, so this first idea is basically just some little underwater creature friends that are all having a picnic, which I do think is cute, but at the same time I'm not 100% sure about it. I don't really know what I think, so I'm gonna keep going, see what else I can come up with. Okay, so I think this is what I'm gonna go with. I know this sketch is very, very rough, but I just wanted to give a basic idea of what it was that I was doing. So I'm just gonna do a little turtle friend swimming in the water with a scuba diver just behind him, staring at him, very excited. Mostly just because I really want to start it off with drawing a person. As intimidated as I am, I just need to get on with it and do it. So yeah, there we go, that's what I'm gonna go with. So let's see how it goes.
So as you can see with this, I did not include the pencil drawing, simply because that part of any drawing that I do takes me hours, and if I had included that, this video would be like 10 minutes longer than it already is, and it's already a long video. So I apologise if anyone actually likes seeing that part of it, but I just didn't feel like it was necessary to include. So I went straight into the fine lining here, using a 0.8 to just go around all of the main areas. I think with this one I used 0.8, 0.2, 0.05 and a 0.5 I think for all of this drawing. And they're the, oh god, what brand are they? It looks like it says Uni Pin fine line, so whoever that is. I just go for really any fine liner that is waterproof, really. Some that I've used in the past I really hated, like the Derwent graphic liners, because they take forever to dry and I'm very impatient, so once I put my lines down I like to be able to erase the pencil lines behind it straight away, and with those ones I can't. But with these, they're really good, they do everything that they need to do. I think these and the Faber-Castell fine liners are probably my favourite ones, my go-to liners. So fine lining is always my favourite part of any piece of artwork. I don't know why, but it's just what I enjoy the most. It's a very clean thing to use. I also don't do anything in order. I think I've already said that on this channel, but everything that I do is very random. I don't follow things like most people tend to. Which isn't very good, because things do tend to get missed when I'm not paying attention to what I'm actually doing, but that's just the way my brain works. I can't focus on anything for too long. I get bored. Okay, and I think, yep, there we go, that's the lining done. Now onto the colouring. I started off just putting a blue wash all over the entire thing, just to give, when I put the other colours on top, it would then still have a slight blue tint. This didn't really have much effect in the end, but I'm glad that I did it, because you can see it a little bit on the skin tone, and obviously the background where you can see the little bits of where the water would be, so it worked for that. Now I'm just adding the colour to the turtle. I wanted to use quite neutral colours for this one. I'm not really sure why, because a lot of the time when I think of underwater I think very colourful, but I wanted to use more earthy tones, more greens and browns, so that's what I stuck with for this. And you do get turtles in that colour, so you know, whatever. My camera actually cut out, the storage filled, and then it ran out of battery in the process of me filming the painting of my turtle, and I didn't realise. So overnight I moved everything out of it and I charged it, and then the next day I was able to carry on. So this is the next morning, and you can see I'm just adding the little finishing touches, little shading pieces to him. Now just working on the skin tone. I'm not entirely sure why, but this skin tone will not show up in most pictures, and I tried scanning this image in once it was finished and the skin tone just came out grey. It's very bizarre, I don't know why. Maybe it is just my scanner, but it was very hard to be able to capture this skin tone on anything really. I mean, it won't show up. If anyone has any advice on how to sort that out, that'd be great, because it's very frustrating. I don't know if I just did it too pale or what, but I don't know. You can kind of see here a little bit of what I mean, where the blue shows up on top of the skin tone, which is what I was hoping for. I was hoping that it would do that across the entire image, but a lot of the colours that I put down on top were too heavy really, I guess, so you couldn't fully see the blue. But I guess that's more realistic if you look at images of under the sea where you can see fish and turtles and whatever. It doesn't have a blue tint to it, so I guess this is more realistic, but I wanted it to have that blue tint. It worked in some areas, it's fine. With her hair, I just put down one flat colour straight away, just a simple brown colour, and then over the top I added more layers of a darker brown and a more golden colour, just to give it more depth, I guess, and make it more interesting and make it look more like hair, because just as a flat colour it doesn't really work. But once I added the shading and I guess the highlights with the gold, it did look a lot better. I'm very new to adding colour to my images, so this is all very much practice for me. I am still learning how to use, well, most art supplies. I mean, I've been doing art for years. I've always done it through school and at college and now at university, but I've never properly gone into depth of how to use different supplies. I've always just kind of played around with them and see what I could do with it. I never really took it seriously, because the majority of stuff that I do for myself is all in black and white, like I'm pretty sure I said earlier in this video. So this is me learning. So if you're watching this and cringing of the way that I'm using the supplies, I'm sorry. I will learn. If you have any tips, leave them in the comments, that'd be great. Okay, so yeah, this is just adding the little golden highlights. You can see it really does add more of an interest to it. Without the other details, it is very flat and, I don't know, just not very exciting to look at. But once those other colours are put in there, I much prefer it. Now off comes the tape. I wanted to give this a bit of an edge, just to have some definition, but then I left her snorkel sticking out. I think it looks cute. I like having borders on images. I don't know why, I think it gives it more interest, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm sure someone agrees with me. It makes it more interesting to have some kind of border to it. But yeah, with this I seem to work my way around it, doing the big flat colours first and then working my way into the middle. I mean, I started with the turtle for some reason, but with everything else, with the woman in the painting, I did all of the large flat areas first and then went in and did all of the smaller, more tricky bits, I guess. This is just adding a little bit of shading up the snorkel to make it have more depth to it. And then adding a little bit of blue to the bubbles to make it more obvious that they're bubbles, rather than just being white circles. I think her eyes in this are really cute. I think she looks very surprised, and I like how they're slightly cross-eyed and not even. I don't like symmetrical eyes. I think it's quite unnerving. Eyes are never naturally symmetrical. So yeah, with the colours that I used for her eyes, they are the same colours that I used on the turtle, and I thought that that would bring some, I don't know what word to use, not continuity, but like a connection with the colours in the image. There is a fly in this room and it's really annoying, but I don't know where he is. Oh, he's by the sink. Sorry, that totally distracted me. Okay, where were I? Right, I then added some shading over where her eyes are in the snorkel mask. I did it, I think first I went over with a slightly grey colour, and then I went over it again later on with a more blue toned colour, just to make it look like there is glass there. And then this is it, all done. Whee! I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for watching. Bye guys!